I'm really having no luck on these dating applications now.
You're using dating apps?
Of course she does. I do too. Everyone uses dating apps.
Yeah, like when I'm sitting in class, I don't see anyone on Facebook anymore. Everyone's just swiping left and right and left and right.
Yeah, there's literally so many guys on here, but I swear to God, I must just be picky.
That's so weird. I wonder why it's so popular.
I don't know, but I do have some friends that might know.
Ooh, let's call them to find out.
Hello?
I'm Casey.
I'm Nora.
I'm Megha.
And I'm Taylor, and we're here to find out why dating apps are so popular.
I am currently on Tinder and Hinge. I do look for a relationship, but I think at the moment I use it a lot just to talk to people.
I'm actually using two dating apps. One is Tinder, the go-to classic, and the other is Bumble. I use Tinder for conversation probably more than anything. I'm in an open relationship with my girlfriend, and we've laid out the rules. So I guess just Tinder would be more for meeting new people and casual dating more than anything. I don't particularly prefer Tinder over Bumble or vice versa. I think there are more users on Tinder. I don't know that for sure, but I get the sense of that. So I guess in that sense, it might be a little bit more useful for meeting more people.
I'm using the dating apps Tinder and Hinge. I'm using Hinge and Tinder mainly for the purpose of finding new guys in the area to build a connection with.
I'm currently using only Hinge. I'm using Hinge to try and meet somebody and develop a relationship.
As of right now, I am using one dating app, and it's Tinder. Unlike most people, I don't usually use dating apps for kind of finding like a serious someone in my life. I kind of just use it as more of a recreational thing, sometimes comedy, sometimes if I'm with friends, we'll go on it together. It's kind of like more of a humor thing than a serious thing.
So I go through spurts where I'm talking to somebody for a couple of hours, and then I go through a period where I don't use it for a week. Me and my friends tend to swipe on it sometimes for entertainment.
I usually spans for how much time I use dating applications, usually just kind of what that time period in my life is. Sometimes I'll use it anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour a day, and then sometimes if I'm sitting for the bus for a long time, I'll end up swiping for 1 to 2 hours, so it really depends on the day. For me personally, I'm more likely to use these dating applications when I'm in a social environment. That's where I actually created my profiles on these apps, so it was kind of more of a group thing.
I wouldn't say I use them every day. I'd say I use them maybe 3 times a week. I find I either use them like when I'm going to bed at night, like I normally will answer people who have messaged me or just sit there swiping on it, or if I'm out with friends. If I'm out with friends, then it's kind of a fun thing to do with them. They give you good input.
I probably use dating apps maybe 10-15 minutes a day. Like I said, I'm not really on there all too often. I use dating apps most often just when I'm bored at home and have nothing better to do. You probably usually while I'm watching something on Netflix. Again, it's not something that I really focus on taking time out of my day to do. It's kind of just something that, if I'm feeling bored and I'm on my phone already, I might as well open up Tinder or Bumble and see what's going on. I don't really use dating apps when I'm out at a bar because I'm usually out with other people and I'd rather spend time with you. Really the only time when I open up a dating app is when I'm home alone, when I'm with someone or I'm with friends or family. I like to actually spend time with them. So even if I am out at a bar on a weekend or whatever it is, I usually don't bring them up, no.
Normally I like to see what they say, but if they don't answer me right away, then I will start the conversation.
I have initiated conversation with people all the time. Actually, I usually am the first texter. Sometimes I like to throw a little cheesy pickup line in there just for humor, back to the humor point. It's kind of funny. Usually if the other person has a good sense of humor too, that's kind of what makes it fun. And maybe you do end up creating something from there. But at the start, it's not usually that serious, but I usually do text first. I am comfortable with meeting people from dating applications, but I don't usually schedule a meetup. Usually when I get dating apps, it's not really for meeting someone. It's just kind of, it'll never happen. I won't really meet up with them. It's just kind of an online type of thing.
I was in a relationship for about 9-10 months from Tinder.
I met up with someone on Hinge. The date went well, but it didn't work out.
I feel pretty comfortable initiating conversation on Tinder. I just like meeting new people in general, so that's never really been a problem for me. I don't really use dating apps for any real particular reason. If I end up meeting and going out with someone from a dating app, that's great, but I don't really do it with any real intent of, going out there and starting a new relationship. It's kind of just something I do when I'm bored at home watching Netflix and I have nothing really better to do. And just an interesting way to start some interesting conversations. And like I said, if I go out and meet up with them, that's great. And if not, well, that's not really why I was using it in the first place. I'm comfortable with meeting up with someone that I've met on a dating app. I've done it a few times, and they've all been pretty fun experiences.
I feel comfortable telling friends. Family though, I did tell my parents after a while, but I kept it secret for like over a year.
I am comfortable telling my friends that I am using dating apps, usually because they are using the same ones and we usually do access them at the same time. So there has been some situations where we have matched with the same people and we have been using the same pickup lines on them at the same time. Back to the humor and comedy part of it, like it's just kind of a fun thing that we do. I'm not that comfortable telling my family. Maybe I'm not telling my mom that I'm on Tinder just because, I don't know, it's my mom and I'll maybe keep her out of that aspect of my life, but I wouldn't hide it from a parent. If they happen to find out, I would be like, yeah.
I do feel comfortable talking to my family about it. I think because I had a relationship, now it's a lot easier having that conversation.
I do feel comfortable telling my friends that I'm using dating apps. I don't think, there might be a stigma around it in some of the older generations, but with people my age, I kind of just think it's the norm now. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, who's to say? I would feel somewhat less comfortable telling my family about using dating apps, but that being said, it wouldn't be that much of a problem. I think the being uncomfortable would just come from something that they're not used to. The things that I like about dating apps is probably just ease of use. It's really easy to meet new people. I love meeting new people, and this just gives me a much easier way to go out there and experience new things with new people.
What I like about Tinder is that it's really easy to use and it kind of passes time, and it's also kind of fun. It's kind of a natural human thing to do to find people attractive or not, and it's not like you're really putting yourself out there. You're just kind of swiping yes or no, saying if you're interested in someone, so no one really gets hurt. It's just kind of a thing to pass time.
I like how you can see who's liked you already, which is really great. It makes it easy to form a connection. And I really like how they have to pick something, like how you have prompts and they can choose to like a prompt because it shows more about their personality than just pictures.
I like Tinder. Tinder's very easy to use. It's not very difficult. It's kind of foolproof. I do like Hinge. I had a friend suggest it. It's a lot more like in-depth and you can see a lot more about the person before you start even talking to them. I do find it entertaining. I will admit I sit at night in my bed on Tinder just swiping just because I enjoy the aspect of swiping left and right on an app. But yeah, it is a confidence booster too when you see all the people who do also swipe right or like your post on them.
I mean, when there's 11 likes, yeah, it can be a confidence booster.
It does boost my ego a lot when I get a match, especially when you get a lot, such as myself. It leads to a lot of opportunities to create new relationships with people, even though it is online. And even though you get a lot of matches, there's the opportunity to kind of go back to the humor point of it. Maybe you could use a funny pickup line or a little bit of a cheesy moment to have in a conversation online. It's kind of funny.
I love having my friends' input when I'm on the dating apps. I think they're really helpful, and sometimes if you're unsure about something, they can kind of clear it up for you.
I find Tinder and Hinge entertaining because it's something to do, it's somebody to talk to.
I think there's a stigma around meeting people in bars and clubs now that they're like odd or gross. I mean, that's definitely not the case, but I think some people actually prefer using dating apps to meeting someone in a dimly lit bar. But I think it's also the convenience factor, having it directly on your phone. You can swipe anytime, anywhere. You don't actually have to physically leave your house.
With our age group, we're so busy with school and work and everything that you don't really have the time to necessarily go out and just meet people. So this is an easy way to do it, kind of multitask.
Our generation feeds into the convenience and the one swipe option.
I think dating applications have become more popular these days just because kids our age are so addicted to their phones. It seems like everything that we do these days is through our phones, one way or another, and dating's no different. I think Tinder was a massively successful opportunity that people are still using today, and there's other apps like it, like Bumble, like we said, and just people are so in tune with their phones these days. It's hard to find something that they're not using their phones for.
I think dating apps have become so successful just because even if people don't say it, they're always looking for a relationship, whether it's intimate or just kind of a friend. Everyone could use like another friend. So I think it kind of creates a pipeline for people to have the ability to create new relationships, whether it's with friends or with a significant other.
Talk slick for the kids in the way. Got about 3 side hoes in the condo, and they all want a piece of the game. Could give two.
Yeah, like when I sit on top in class, legit, all I see is people's. It doesn't work. You can't say you're sitting on top.
I like. Okay, that's. Okay, I'm gonna hold. Okay, ready? I like the features.
I don't know. I might have some friends that they know.
Well, let's call them and find out and see what they. Okay.
How much time do you use dating applications in a day?
It kind of goes in spurts. Around Valentine's Day, I was pretty vulnerable. So, wait, okay, ask that question again.
Yeah, like when I'm sitting in class, no one's sitting on Facebook anymore. Everyone's swiping left and raw and raw.
For the kids in the way. Got about 3 side hoes in the condo.